Kia ora, I'm Sean.
Kia ora team, I'm Jamie.
Kia ora team, I'm Pat.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Sam and welcome to the Bay Plenty Referee podcast. Every week during the season we'll bring you news from around the Bay, a bite-sized law and education recap, and conversations with people out of the middle, our referees, coaches and supporters. So whether it's your first time appointment or you're heading into a final, you'll get practical tips you can use this weekend.
Today's guest is someone who's pretty much done every job in rugby except carry the water, and we're not even sure he hasn't done that too. He's been a player, a referee, a coach, a referee manager, a community rugby leader, and a bloke who has spent more weekends on rugby sidelines than most of us have had hot dinners. He's a man who knows the law, knows the people, and knows exactly why the referee is never actually wrong, just misunderstood. Currently overseeing our referee coaches for the season, he brings decades of experience, a deep love for the community game, and a healthy appreciation that referees don't grow on trees. They're trained, mentored, occasionally growled at, and supported. Known across the Bay of Plenty and beyond as a rugby lifer, Pat is instrumental in developing referees, building referee culture, and reminding everyone that without officials, there is no game. So if you've ever wondered how referee coaches are developed, why consistency actually matters, and what a life spent saying play on looks like from the inside, strap in. We're absolutely stoked to welcome to the Bay of Plenty referee podcast, Pat Rae. Welcome, Pat.
Wow, what an amazing introduction. It sounds like I wrote that myself.
Yeah. You wrote it and sent it in with $5 for Sean to read that, was it?
Yeah.
That sounds one of your ground announcements, like a boom boom shake the room.
There he is.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway, great to be here, lads. It's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to what this unravels. This chat.
Nice. And so the first part of all of our sessions, that sounds like we've had lots of these podcasts, even though this is number 2, as we just talk a little bit about what happened in the weekend past. And so this weekend was our third weekend of pre-season, and for some grades, the last weekend before we move into the competition next weekend. And it was a weekend of cards and a red card show. And so I think that every week so far we've had a red card. So Jamie, you know quite a lot about the red card that happened, don't you? So how was your game this weekend?
Yep, so on Saturday I had Rangatawa dus Paro in the final of the Rose Bowl up at Rangatawa here, so Mangatapu. Pretty good game. Jeez, it was hot. Wasn't really prepared for that. But good game, good pre-season hit out. So I did have the red card on Saturday. I also had 2 yellows, but there's a story. So I packed my bag. If you remember last week, I couldn't find my watch.
That's right.
Couldn't find my watch. Yep. No one got back to me about saying I could borrow their watch. So I ended up finding one in my boys' room. One of my old ones,
Mickey Mouse hands.
The strap was all broken and had to tape it all up. But I got to the ground and I didn't have my cards on me. I had a coach. And I said to him, Peter, mate, if I have to do these ones or that one, I don't have a set of cards in my pocket. And then, which I've always wanted to do the old league, 10 minutes, see you later. So I got to do that twice, and I got to do the old point to the sideline once too. So that's probably a fine coming my way, but I'll take it on the chin and got to tick a goal off, I guess. But yeah, the red card, just shoulder on shoulder, but a high degree of danger and a high degree of force in it. So the player never dipped coming out of the line. Probably had about a 10-metre head start from a penalty tap, and just connected shoulder on shoulder. As I said, a high level of force and danger involved. So put him in the bin or put him to the sideline, and that was about it really. But Pato ended up winning 24-17, I think it was in the end. But they were up 24-7 with about 5 minutes to go. So pretty comfortable win, I'd say, for them, and they're looking quite good. So early days yet, and not seen any other Eastern Bay teams, but I reckon they'll be up there this year. They've got some good backs and some quick backs as well, with some young people involved. So early money could be on them to be quite up there in that Eastern Bay comp this year.
Nice. And so what do you write on, we're talking today about writing red card reports. What do you write on a red card report when you didn't actually show the red card?
I talked to the manager because we played quarters and it happened just before it was in the third quarter. So they came up and asked me what happened, and I told them and said it was a red card. So they were happy with it. So just had to fill it in as a red card. So can't say I showed it, which I didn't put in my report, but said that I issued a red card. So
I sent them from the field.
Yeah.
But I reckon I'm not the only one in that situation either. You boys just have to own up.
Never mind.
Plenty of times. The word checklist springs to mind. So you have a checklist for packing your bag so you don't forget them next time.
They were in my work bag, to be fair. So I think they actually still there. So I should move them into my referee bag. But Sean, you had a game on the weekend?
Yes, I did. Yeah, first hit out of the season. Like Jamie said, it was bloody hot out there, especially on my pasty Irish skin. But no, good game. Unlike Jamie, liked to keep 15 on 15, so everyone stayed on, which was good. It was Mount versus Te Puna. Mount looking pretty strong this year. 66-0 in that game. Mount seemed to have a few new players on their side. Their captain has come back from playing professionally over in France, ex-North Harbour player. So having him and Jai Knight as a locking pair is pretty dangerous up the front there. So really enjoyable game. Good to be back out there, and like I said last week, blow the rust off the boots.
Nice.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, it's disappointing Mount didn't score another penalty in that game, being 66, just to get a perfect score there. But I was down at the New Zealand under-20s cap tournament thing. I thought that was quite good, actually.
Alzheimer's, is that literally just
took a while for the Mets to get there, eh?
Sorry, I was trying to hold it for so long, I lost it.
I was at the New Zealand under-20s on Wednesday and Saturday, and so some great games out there. Matt was awesome in his game on Wednesday, and then he AR'd, and then straight afterwards did a high school game out there. So I think he's trying to prove that he's new in town and fitter than the rest of us. But my game was awesome. There was a one Saracens, which I guess it doesn't really matter because they're just throwing together teams, but they were the Saracens team. They won after inside referee's time. They scored a try which won the game, so they were up by 1 point when they scored the try, and then ended up winning by 3 because they got the conversion. So it was a good game. Awesome players. I think they only had about 4 or 5 players who were either playing Super Rugby or were injured. So it was kind of the cream of the crop from that 20s comp. So it was some pretty awesome rugby out there. So looking forward to getting back into some pub rugby this weekend. Pat, were you out watching anyone or refereeing? I know that you still chuck your boots on a little bit. You were doing anything last weekend?
Yeah, the plan was to go and watch Ryan Waite down at Greerton. I think he had Tauranga Sports and Hamilton Old Boys, but answered a late call to head out to Rotorua and referee a game out there, and then stopped off at Te Teko on the way because I had to catch up with the referee to teach him how to accept his appointments on his phone, because he scrolls to the bottom of the phone and couldn't find the accept or reject button. So I just showed him how to flick it to the side. And as it turned out, the game that he was down to referee, the home team didn't turn up.
No.
And so there was a visiting team there and a referee, but no home team. So I suggested, well, follow me back to Rotorua and we'll see if we can turn the game that I'm refereeing into a game of 3 halves. And thankfully, both Rotorua and Nongataha, who were the 2 teams I was supposed to referee, they were more than amicable to have Kahukura jump in. So it turned out to be a game of 3 halves. And I cunningly made Max Ratana referee 2 of the 40-minute blocks, the first one and the third one, and then I jumped in the middle and did the second one. So I got to write a coaching report on Max and get 40 minutes under my belt as well. So
Nice.
3 good games. All 3 were really close scores, 7-5, 12-10, and I think the last game was a bit of a blowout, 15-0. But, hot day. It was pretty hot. But all 3 teams appreciated the ability to get a run around. So they're pretty appreciative that they got something thrown together for them at the last minute.
Nice. Awesome. And and I mean, don't you get a point or something as well for your team for filling in late last minute as well? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the whistleblowers get a point or 3.
Nice.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple of points anyway. So
Yeah,
we ended up putting it in there.
Nice. So yeah, that's to answer Ian's SOSs, get a couple points for your team.
Yep.
Nice. We'll jump into the education session that we had this week, and timely that we've had a few cards in pre-season and we're about to move into the season. So this week we covered completing yellow and red card reports, whereas my kids like to call them when I'm filling them out the naughty boy reports. So Jamie, what did we cover this week?
Yeah, I guess on Monday in the Western Bay, we were lucky to have Matt Astle lead the session, who's pretty experienced in writing reports, and also has sit on the King Country Rugby judicial system in the last couple of years that he's been down there. We talked about report writing, yellow cards, red cards, and referee abuse, which was pretty cool. Got into our mini teams again and worked through what was a good report and what was a bad report, and what information we needed in each report. So then if it does go to a judicial, everyone's got the facts.
I guess a couple of key takeaways that I think we really outlined through the session was painting the picture for the judiciary. Just remembering that they weren't probably there when it happened. So we're going to paint the best picture so that they can be there and see what's happened by just reading it off a piece of paper. Detail. Can never have too much detail. If you do, well done, because I've never heard someone have too much detail in a report like that. Checking your grammar, making sure it all makes sense. It seems minor, but it just makes us look professional. Use AI to check it. You can write your report, copy and paste it into a bit of AI, and they might even make it sound a little bit better than what you did it. I know at work we use it for all of our files. We do a file and then we put it into AI and they just check everything. Not bringing your personal opinion and your views into the reports, strictly just the facts that are staying in those reports. What happened, how it happened, when it happened, where it happened. Not, I feel like he should be punished for this or anything like that. Ask for help if you're unsure. There's lots of people out there that have written hundreds and hundreds of reports, and people that would have done it with pen and paper, people that have done it on computers. There's lots of different ways, so ask for that help. And when it comes to going to a judiciary hearing, don't get annoyed at the outcome. It's not a reflection on your performance or your decision. It's purely just by the book, how it happens. The judiciary is not there to shit on you, I guess, for one term. They're purely there just to follow the black book and get the procedure done. End of the day, we want players to learn and get back on the field, not be punished for months and get pissed off with rugby and leave. Pat, few takeaways.
Look, I really enjoyed the session. It's not the easiest of topic to make interesting, but I was, hats off and kudos to Jamie and Matt Astle for delivering the session in such an engaging way. It was also pretty cool to sit and hear all the different reports that the people on the ground came up with. Some pretty good attempts to get a good report there. So the challenge for us, I think, as a collective, though, is how do we get the education across to the people that didn't come to the meetings? Because it was pretty good quality report writing done in the room. So we just need to make sure we can somehow get that across.
And that's part of the idea of this kind of podcast, is that we start to let people know if they couldn't make it at high level what we covered, and then they know what to reach out for. And I think, like Matt said, that if anyone wants to reach out to Matt, myself, Jamie, or probably any of us other premier referees or experienced coaches to understand what it's about, or if they have questions, I think the key is to do that. And I think in these situations, it's always important that rather than guessing things, that we get it right, because ultimately it does reflect on the individual and the club. But it can be something that if you're not doing it all the time, then it can be a little bit daunting.
I guess another way to go about it is doing a bit of like a buddy check, eh? So like if say Jamie with his yellow and red cards on the weekend, if he sent maybe one to Sam, one to me, one to Pat, and we just check over it, maybe give him some feedback, and then that way you've had 3 different opinions on your reports, and if it comes back and gets told that it's shit, then blame the other person, not yourself.
Or give someone a call, or those types of things is to bounce it.
And the other thing we've just all learned from having taken part in a facilitators course, right, is the bulk of your learning's done by teaching. So if you're sharing your report with your peers and they're giving you feedback, it's reinforcing to them what a good report looks like. So it's just another way of learning.
Nice. And Jamie, so there are a few other sessions around the traps this week. So how did they get on?
Yeah, so Central Bay met up on Tuesday night at Rotorua Intermediate. So thanks to those 7 people that were there. A couple of apologies as well, and it was good to get in there. I know they haven't met for a while because the Rotorua Stadium, the referees' rooms, they're not been able to use it. So we've been able to go find another venue to help them meet together and connect as a group throughout the year. So it was more around how often they wanted to meet, and where they wanted to go with their refereeing journey in 2026. We also covered off the EDSLVs and the domestic safety law, and we also looked at we touched on this report writing, gave them those 5 things that came out of it on Monday, where we submit our reports. So yellow cards are done through the website on the yellow card report, which is a sporty form, and the red cards are through RX on the appointment email that everyone should be getting. So we touched on that, and so they're meeting again in 2 weeks' time on the 7th of April. And then on Wednesday last night in Eastern Bay, Yucko ran a meeting over there with about 8 referees, and there was about 4 new ones there with about 4 apologies too. So nice. Again, they met at the referee pavilion there at Rugby Park, and they had a good little session, outlined what's ahead for the year, obviously bringing in those new people, what are those expectations, how we can get them games to kickstart their refereeing journey. And I think they're going to meet every fortnight as well, which is pretty cool. There we've got 2 of our sub-unions meeting regularly now, which I don't think's happened in the last couple of years. So that just brings in that connection with them, and from there we can slowly build in the training and education framework that we've made up throughout the year, which is done by New Zealand Rugby. So they're still getting their training and education.
Nice. Awesome to see that getting off the ground, isn't it? And I think that's what happens, is that you start to invite some mates down, and then you get into that routine, and it just keeps you involved. And it's a bit harder to just say, oh, I'm going to take the weekend off, or I'm not going to get involved this year, when you have that kind of connection, isn't it?
Yeah, so just a big shout out to Josh, who's organised Rotorua Intermediate for us as another venue, and Yucko in Eastern Bay, who's really driving the referees in that group down there. So hats off to those 2 men that are part of our club, and taking on that kind of, I guess, that leadership role within the sub-unions.
Nice. Awesome work. And yeah, it's definitely some points for Josh, I reckon, on the old Whistling Wizards, because we're struggling with points at the moment, so that should be about 100 points, I think. But we're now to the point, we've got the man of the hour, we've got Pat Rae here, so we've got our quick fire session, and so we're going to jump through some questions each. So I think, Sean, you're starting us off.
Yeah. All right, Pat, here we go, mate. Quick fire section. Why did you get into refereeing?
Great question. Gosh, 32 years ago. Sean, you probably weren't even alive.
I wasn't even thought about, mate.
Yeah. So my last 2
I was
years
4.
I was. Jamie, were you alive? Yeah.
I was.
Yeah,
I was about
yeah.
6.
6. So my last 2 years of playing were at the highest that I reached. I played NPC for Hawke's Bay, the other bay. And my very last club game in the final, I dislocated my AC joint, my right shoulder. It was basically the straw that broke the camel's back because I was already running on Voltaren every game just to get onto the field. Body was pretty much had it. I was done and dusted. Then as soon as the shoulder went, that was pretty much me done and dusted and playing. And then at the time I was in the police, I transferred back to South Auckland as a sergeant. And Danny Brown, who you guys all know, was a referee coach in Counties Manukau back then. And he walked into the watch house one day and he said, "Do you want to come and give this refereeing a go?" And I said, "Yeah, no worries." So he took me down to Manurewa High. My first game was Manurewa First 15 and absolutely loved it and had never looked back. So I suppose to answer your question, why? It was just to stay involved in the game. But my very first experience was so amazing that I couldn't not keep going. And here we are, 32 years later.
So out of those 32 years, Bet, you've got to have a couple of highlights in there. You don't have to say being on this podcast is one of them if you don't want to, but we all know that will be number one. But just touch on a couple of highlights throughout your 32 years. We know you've done every role within refereeing, but you've got to have a couple of highlights here.
Yep. They're both on-field roles, on-field highlights. The first highlight, which is number 2 in my book, is I refereed New Zealand, Australian secondary schools at the Southport School on the Gold Coast one year. Thoroughly enjoyed the game, but got the opportunity to sing both national anthems for the very first time. And then got in trouble with the referee assessor of the day because that was the wrong thing to do. But it was certainly a highlight for me. Making my premier debut was probably the highlight because of the game that it ended up being. I was sent from Brisbane to Sydney on an interchange. And the game that I was appointed to was 2 teams. It was in the Shute Shield, Randwick versus Manly. The game itself was a first grade Shute Shield match, which is a pretty big deal even today. But this particular game was Matt Burke's comeback injury from shoulder surgery when he dislocated his shoulder, scoring a try for the Wallabies against the All Blacks in 98. So his first game was in 99. That was my premier debut. So all 4 television news channels of Australia turned up to the game, and along with 7,000 people. So it was the biggest crowd that I've ever refereed in front of, and it was my premier debut. So that was a highlight. And
1998, did you say?
99.
99. Were you born in, Sean?
No, still not even thought about.
The best part of that whole game, though, wasn't the fact of the match. It happened in the changing rooms after, and it made the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald for all the wrong reasons.
Careful.
Yeah.
Changing rooms, newspaper, wrong reasons.
Yeah. 2 girls burst
God.
into the changing rooms and came in front of the New South Wales assistant referees and the New South Wales referee coach because they wanted my autograph. And that made the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald. They'd never seen fans of referees before. To be fair, it never happened to me before and never happened again, but it just happened to be that particular game. So that's crazy
Peaked
highlight.
early, mate.
Yeah, very first game, and she was all downhill from there.
Yeah. It's massive, though, that Shute Shield. I didn't realise I've been listening to another podcast out of Australia, a refereeing podcast, and I didn't realise that because there's no gap between that and Super Rugby, they're like loosely their version of first class games, but they can't call them first class because they don't cover the country. Where, like in my head, that was just equivalent to Premier Rugby. So it's a massive jump, isn't it? You go from very local to that, and then straight into Super Rugby.
Yeah. And the game that I debuted in, Willie Offahingawe was playing. Obviously, Matt Burke was playing. There was about 4 or 5 Wallabies in the opposition. It was crazy. And I only started refereeing in '97.
Yeah.
So I hadn't been long.
Nice. And so you're into the referee coaching this year, looking after the referee coaches. So what are your plans for referee coaching in the Bay this year?
Yeah, I've sort of taken a bit of a step back from coaching referees now. Obviously, to make your referees better, they need to be coached. But I think probably now where I'm sitting, I think if I can make our coaches better, it'll make our referees better. And the good thing about our coaching group, our referee coaching group, I did a quick tally up this morning. Between the 12 or 11 guys that we've got who are referee coaches, was 560 years of experience. Crazy the amount of experience. And this is just in our little referees club. So when I say, how am I going to grow our referees, coaches, I'm not going to do anything at all. Pretty much all I'm doing is coordinating them and just creating a little environment for them to thrive. We went away to a workshop on the weekend where we learned a few things. I'm now trying to implement that amongst us, and just making sure that our referee coaches plan for this year is everybody gets seen a minimum of twice, and those who want to get better, move up a level, or aspiring for regional representative honours, gets the support that they need. 75 to 90 active referees, 11 coaches. The coaches are really enthused right now. We've got, I'm appointed the coaches to games, and as long as Ian can stay in front by getting referees appointed, once they've accepted, then I can follow in behind and appoint the coaches. So, and touch base, touch hard wood. We've been going 3 weeks now, and there's been a pretty high acceptance rate, and hopefully that'll flow through into our WAFs and grow reports, flowing back to the referees to get better. So that's the plan anyway. We'll see how we go. It's only week 3.
Yeah, and 500 and whatever years experience is pretty good since we only have 6 coaches. So 100 years each. No, I'm joking.
Two of them have got 50 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you do the maths, right? It's crazy when I was adding it up.
And past or present, Pat, who is your favourite referee?
Be careful with this one. Be careful.
Without a doubt, he's passed away now. But I did the bulk of my learning in Australia, and so my most respected referee is a guy by the name of Andrew Cole, who's recently passed away. But he took me under his wing when I arrived, and it was really cool to arrive in a referees association that had, I think at that stage, Queensland had 3 referees in the Australian national squad, and the other 3 were New South Welshmen. But we also had 2 referee coaches on the world circuit. So it was a really cool environment. And Queenslanders hate New South Welshmen like Aucklanders and Cantabrians hate each other. So that was really cool to understand and unpick that. So yeah, Andrew Cole is without a doubt been my most favourite referee. I like the way he was calm and collected on the field. And interestingly enough, when he was alive, he said the game that he most enjoyed refereeing the most was the All Blacks Lions in, when was that? 05, I think. What was the game Dan Carter scored 1,000 points against the British? Yeah, Andrew Cole was the referee in the middle for that.
So, pretty cool, because I see that you mentioned Andrew Cole. I see on that documentary of the referees from the World Cup in France.
Yes, Nick Berry.
Nick Berry talked about how Andrew took him under his wing when he came from playing for the Reds and into the refereeing space. So it sounds like quite similar stories there. Just maybe Nick did a little bit better, but hey.
I refereed Nick Berry because he was played for, might have been Uni or Brothers. Yeah, typical halfback. And because add the Australian accent to it as well. Oh, come on, get out of it. He's going here. Yeah. But then he made the Reds, and then he made the Wallabies, and then he buggered off overseas. So yeah.
The last one for you, Pat, in this quick fire round. You've been around for 32 years. You must have seen a few different laws or law changes within those 32 years. What's been your favourite one?
Oh, I love the fact that World Rugby had to create a law to stop an All Black flanker from stealing the ball, so they created gates. That's the Josh Kronfeld law, right? If you remember that, he used to make a tackle, get up on the wrong side, and pick the ball up before the ruck was formed. So World Rugby said, "Oh, we need to stop this. We can't have All Blacks winning." So in my mind, that when they start writing laws to negate All Blacks, you're onto a winner. That was the invention of the gate.
Rich and McCaw having to come back around through the gate.
Yeah, but Josh Kronfeld was the one that started it because he used to just pop up, right? And he'd just steal people's balls and they'd all whinge and moan because he was on the wrong side.
I don't think Sean was around to watch Josh Kronfeld.
or you can say, when tries were worth 4 points and the offside line was the base of the scrum.
Well, and they just used to run at each other.
Yeah, the ball was made.
Well, you held your hand out, didn't you? And lift your hand up and they.
Oh yeah, crouch and hold, engage.
So you had to start your phone up like a blooming lawnmower.
No phones then, mate.
No phones then, mate.
Oh, no phones even. Jesus.
No phones then.
Oh, that brings an end to our quick fire section there, lads. That was kind of quick. So our Whistler of the Week this week is going to be Josh Baker. So Josh has been putting in a massive amount of work over in the Central Bay, over in Vegas over there, similar to what we talked about with Jacko last week. But Josh has pretty much set up a training education nights that are running, I believe, fortnightly. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Jamie. But they'll be running fortnightly at the Rotorua Intermediate until they get their room in the stadium up and running. So to have Josh putting in a whole heap of work over there, it takes a lot of pressure off the local boys and girls over there to have to travel over for training sessions, and they have access to a pretty decent facility there, and to have Josh helping running them is you're in pretty good hands there. And I also see Josh is actually refereeing up in counties this weekend, so I don't know, that maybe that's minus points for leaving us a number short.
Well.
Just although he's a great guy,
To be fair,
added points, I reckon, for helping other unions.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because he's got family up there, right? So he goes to visit step parents or parents. So cut the lad some slack, Sean. Jeepers.
Oh, I've just talked him up, and so now he gets brought back down to earth by losing points.
Yeah, let's keep people level up. But awesome work there from Josh to get that going, and Yako in the Eastern Bay. And so looking ahead to this weekend, which it's Thursday tonight, so just a couple of days. So we've got 17 games this weekend. So I think we had 15 last weekend, so we've got 2 more. So it's important that everyone updates their availability. Otherwise, Ian will hunt you down in the night. And so, especially if you keep declining, Jamie, Bell. And so we've also got the start of the Central and Eastern Bay comp. And so, Sean, do you have a game this weekend?
Nah, unfortunately, I'm not on the whistle again this weekend. Back to early shifts of work, so I'll be working through while the footy's on, but maybe catch a break and go down and watch a little bit of one of the games around here would be ideal. But how about you, Jamie? You going to get back out there and ruin another 3 people's weekend, or what?
No. I don't have a game this week. I actually mucked up my availability on RX, and I thought I had put it in, but I actually put it only on for an hour, not a whole day. So I did get that appointment, but I did have to decline it. So, yep, I think I'm in Ian's bad book still. But no game for me this weekend. But yeah, Pat,
You've been dropped. That's right. You've been dropped, eh? Yeah. Yeah.
Pat's doing free training sessions on RX, I heard as well. So
No, I haven't got a run this weekend. I've put my referee coach hat on, even though I said I wasn't. Heading out to Rotorua to watch Te Roi Matarangi run around Rotorua Ruatoki Senior. So I'll sneak out there and have a look. Sam, what are you doing?
Nice. Yeah, well, I didn't think I had a game, and then got one today, actually, which I don't think is close enough to count for extra points, unfortunately. But I've got a Colts game at Rotorua College, so my old stomping ground. So when I was coming up refereeing, I was quite lucky that what would happen is that quite often I'd get appointed to games there, which was pretty good. So, yeah, it'll be good to be there. And I've got the Total Sports Colts versus I don't know who, because it doesn't show up on RX, so it'll be a surprise. So
that's
it should be
East Coast Bays, I think it might be.
Oh, yeah.
That game only came in 2 days ago, so again, hats off to Ian for pointing to it. And Sam, no, you don't get any points, unlike the two from the Eastern Bay.
Yeah.
But just a side fact on Rotorua College, that is where I did my first game under 14s back in 2010. Nice. Hopefully you were born then, Sean.
Were you?
Yes, I
was. Cool.
Yeah,
we got one. We got one. But yeah, did my first game in 2010 back in Rotorua College. So
nice. Good refereeing pedigree there. Bryce Lawrence, myself, Glenn Jackson. All the big names.
Yeah, way to throw yourself in there, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously on the same level as those guys. Yeah.
Well, if I hadn't have made the Tauranga Ty Mitchell team in 1979, I might have ended up at Rotorua College because I was at Rotorua Intermediate. But Ty Mitchell was the beginning of my career, and that's what got me to Te Puna.
Nice.
Yeah. We went away and played at Counties one day, and suddenly the 4 Māori boys out of our Ty Mitchell team were at Wesley and Te Puna the next year. So recruiting at Form 2, year 8 was happening in the 70s, so it's not new.
No. And so, Jamie, we've got a Baywide meeting this weekend, don't we? So where's that, and what are we doing this weekend? This Monday.
On Monday, so first Baywide meeting on Monday, if not including our season launch. So it's in Pongaroa at the Eastern Districts Rugby Club, start 6:30. We will be diving into the new framework, so looking at our technical pillar of our tackle ruck more, but more importantly that we connect as a group. I think these Baywide meetings, we do them once a month, so if we can get a good presence there from all of our areas, then and we can just connect as a Bay of Plenty referee group, because we don't do it often, as I said, every month, but depending on people's availability. So if we can get everyone there, we'll put on a bit of a feed, and some drinks, hopefully some fizzies or something
soft
like that.
Drinks, yeah.
Yeah, because people have to drive, but hopefully this rain stays away and doesn't affect too many games on Saturday and doesn't affect the travel on Monday night. So, first one for the year on Monday in Pongaroa, Eastern Districts Rugby Club, 6:30 p.m, and we'll get into some training and education.
Nice, awesome, Jamie. And is there anything else that people need to be aware of except for making themselves available or anything like that for the week ahead?
Oh, no, like if you can, I've sent out a couple of Google forms, so if you can fill those in if you are coming or looking at coming on Monday, just so we can let our caterer know it's not Pizza Hut and it's not KFC, so we're going to put on some decent feeds this year, so if we can let our caterer know by Friday night, Saturday morning, so if you are coming, then send in those forms, please.
Nice. Thanks, Jamie, and good work today, team. I think an improvement from last week's podcast. So you start at the bottom and go up. Good to have you on board, Pat, and thanks everyone for joining us on the Bay of Plenty Referee podcast. And so feel free to reach out if you've got any questions, comments, guest ideas. If you want to be a guest, and as the kids say, click, share, and subscribe, and whistle well, team. Kia ora.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
See ya.